What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In today's episode, we're going to be taking Logan through a speed session. We're going to try to get him some more ball speed. So without any further ado, let's dive right in. That was good too. So we've been warming up just for a little bit to get some baseline numbers. We're right around 140 to 145 ball speed with Logan here. So we're going to see if we can bump that by at least 5 to 10 miles an hour. We're going to take him through some mechanical changes. We're going to increase some speed a little bit, and then we're going to see if we can gain some distance.
Sweet.
Cool. .151. So 151 ball speed's a great baseline for us. So we'll see if we can get it a little bit faster. So when it comes to actually picking up some ball speed, especially with driver, most people more often than not treat their driver like they treat their irons. So a lot of it is staying very stacked over the ball, trying to compress it like an iron, but we have to switch between those two. So with you, I almost want you to feel the very first piece of initiating factor for you is going to be to feel like you're coming off of the ball just a little bit. So it's the average PGA Tour player moves anywhere between 1 to 3 inches like off of the ball this way, or they're turning off of the ball towards their trail side. Long drivers, the best of the world, they're like 7 to 9 inches. So that's like a lot of pressure shift here. We're obviously not going to take it to the extreme. The beauty about having the net here is that we don't have to worry about ball flight because we're solely pushing speed. So we're not going to be focusing on a ton of mechanical stuff, just more or less power elements to get you faster. Okay. So for the next couple swings, we're just going to focus on feeling like you're unweighting off of the ball before you even take the club back. So try a couple without the club head actually moving. Go ahead and set up again. Okay. I'm just gonna put my foot here behind the ball and just feel like your lower body just a little bit kind of comes off of the ball first. And that's gonna be your trigger. It's gonna be a slide. It's not gonna be a slide or think about it more as if a shift, or you're loading the instep of this foot. So you're not sliding off on the trail foot, you're simply turning into the trail hip. So again, feel like you're getting deeper into the trail hip, but you're shifting off of the ball first before the club head even starts to move. Okay, so it's gonna be a small shift this way, and then that'll be your trigger in order for the club to move, okay? So take a couple swings where it's, again, 50%, this is the best way to practice drills, is doing it in slow motion, because when you're trying to incorporate a new motor pattern, it's super important as opposed to trying to get into full speed. So it's gonna be just a small, even if you wanna just go back and forth to feel the pressure in your feet shift, you're gonna feel that small pressure shift. And once you feel that small pressure shift, that's your opportunity to try to pull the trigger. But again, 50% shift, then pull the club back and go. So just hit a couple here where you feel almost like you're unweighting off of the ball just a little bit, okay? And the first couple are probably not gonna be very good, which is totally fine. So again, even with a huge miss hit, we're still at 149 ball speed, which is pretty good. So it means we've gained a little bit of speed already. But again, just a small pressure shift off the ball, and then you can pull the trigger with the golf club. Try to get even more exaggerated. So if I was to push you over or put all your pressure on your trail side, that's the feeling that you want to have before you even take the club back. Okay, so you're almost 100% zero. Okay. So as soon as you start to feel like this foot almost feels like it's gonna come off the ground, then you can take the club away. Perfect. That was absolutely great. That actually sounded a lot better too. Yeah. 158. So we've just jumped basically 7 miles an hour with one swing move, so let's keep going. Okay, so because we're gonna add the pieces together here, so that's perfect. So yeah, tee that bad boy up again. We'll get a new ball in the rotation here in a second. So again, just that small pressure shift is gonna be the initial factor. So almost feel like you're unweighting, and then the club can kind of come back, okay? That's gonna be piece number one. Now, more often than not, when we're trying to get a player to incorporate a mechanical change, that's as far as we would take it. I would literally give that to you to work on for the next 2 to 4 weeks until it becomes literally mindless. Right. Most coaches will take it a step further and try to keep going and keep going and keep going. There's too many things to think about to take away from that. So normally that would be it. But for the sake of today, we'll incorporate a couple more things. But more often than not, I would send you on your way, and that would be the end of it. Because we've just gained 7 miles an hour in like 10 swings, which is huge, okay? So now, when you take the club back to essentially shaft parallel to the ground, I want you to think about trying to get a little bit taller. Okay? You're not necessarily like coming out of your posture per se, whereas most guys will think this. That's on the extreme, which can, for professional long drivers, that's gonna happen. But it's basically trying to just get taller in your backswing. So by the time, so once you feel the pressure shift, from the front to the back and you start to pull back to P2, which is right here, think about trying to get tall. So you're not coming out of your posture this way, you're just simply trying to get taller, which will actually allow for some more extension, some more rotation. You should lengthen out your golf swing just a little bit. So in hindsight, you should hit the first few really shitty because it's actually gonna lengthen out your golf swing a little bit. Okay? So it's just gonna be pressure shift, and try a couple without the ball first, it's gonna be important.
Right.
Small pressure shift, and even if you were to pause right here, and then think tall. Like as the club starts to come up in your backswing, think nice and tall. Yes. As opposed to thinking like leaning backwards, if you were to recline in a seat, you're thinking about taking it to P2 and then think tall. Staying within your posture, but thinking tall.
Okay.
Yeah, okay? So try a couple where you take it back, pause at P2, and then think tall, and then full follow through, okay? And then same thing, pressure shift, P2, and then tall. Good. Okay, a couple more. Super, super important and super valuable for those of you guys that practice at home. It's important to try without a golf ball in slow motion, 50%. That's what's really gonna make the difference, because when you try to hit golf balls, especially at full speed, you're never gonna be able to implement it to its exact pattern, okay? So let's try a couple here. So again, try a couple where you don't go full speed, the same thing as the drill, pause at P2, up, and then go.
Okay.
Tall, totally fine. 100% supposed to happen, okay? Again, try one without the golf ball again. Good, okay? And then we will, again, small pause, P2 and up. Good, okay? Couple weird ones, that's fine. 157 again. Good. You'll hit a couple fat, you'll hit a couple skinny, that's totally fine because your low point's going all over the place. Like you're hitting it at 155 now, which is really good. So now our floor has completely been raised and we still have a lot of room to go. Boom, up, and then go. Fine, totally fine. Okay, so now you can try to let one go in full speed. Good, a little bit more fluid. 55 on a miss hit, good. So for reference, these balls are flying anywhere between 240 and 250, which is good. And as he starts to get super comfortable with this, it'll just, again, everything will start to amplify, but same kind of deal. Nice and tall in the backswing. Good, 55 again, even on miss hits. So obviously you're not gonna be thinking on the golf course to be getting taller and getting taller, but the more you ingrain it, the more it just will actually become natural, and then we can really start to maximize the golf club. Okay guys, so we just gained 7 to 8 miles an hour with Logan here with a couple pieces, a couple power elements that we obviously implemented in his golf swing. Stay tuned for part 2 for the next few.